Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work.
Welcome to Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Let's Talk is proudly presented by attorney Frank Walker. Real talk, real experience, real results. FrankWalkerLaw.com. Let the conversation begin on Let's Talk.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and I have Lisa Otey in the building, and
hello,
Hollis Lewis on air, I do believe. Hollis, are you there?
Yes, I am. I'm here.
All right. Well, I've got an interesting conversation that I want to start the show out with, and it's like, who do you think is the best quarterback, and or like why? Okay, like there's like a ton of great quarterbacks. I think, did you send me a list, Lisa?
Oh, well, let's just even go further than what you're trying to go down this route.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you some background information.
Okay.
So ESPN, and I kind of was aware of this, but I wasn't. I didn't think it was official, but it really is. So every year, this time of year in July, ESPN compiles this list, and it's actually Jeremy Fowler is the one that leads it, and he gives out this survey of over 70 league executives, coaches, scouts, all these different people that are associated with the NFL. And they compile the top 10 quarterbacks going into the summer camps and the 2026 NFL season, okay? So I'm just going to read the list, and then I'm going to let you and Hollis.
Yeah, Hollis, since you as a quarterback, Hollis, you have some pluses here. So we'll see. Right. We'll see what you're thinking. All right.
Got you.
Okay, so you guys can either agree, disagree, whatever you want to do with this, okay? So this is ESPN's list, like I said, and it's compiled by all these different people associated with the league. Number 1, Josh Allen. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Number 3, Matt Stafford. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Number 5, Lamar Jackson. Number 6 is Dak Prescott. That pains me to say that. Number 7 is Justin Herbert. 8 is Drake May, 9 is Jared Goff, and 10 is Caleb Williams, which is also another painful one for me to say. All right, so guys, go for it.
All right, Josh Allen to me is not the number one. Okay, I can't get past Patrick Mahomes being number one because of his play and what he has done as a quarterback, as a leader of a team. He basically, when you started hearing his name, all of a sudden his team becomes notable.
Okay.
So to me, I don't think there's anybody else on the list that could say that they changed the whole dynamic of their team.
Hollis, jump in, buddy.
All right. Well, I think. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. I think I like the names on the list. I don't necessarily agree with the order. I wouldn't necessarily have Josh Allen number one for me, although I can see the argument. However, there's one egregious omission in this, is that Sam Darnold is not on the list.
I thought that
so
too.
For me, it's not necessarily about who's on the list. It's just that guy's not on the list. And I don't know how you have a guy who's won a Super Bowl, last year's Super Bowl winner, and also prior to that went 14-2 playoffs. So if we're looking at just, again, we're talking historic, that's something different. But if we're talking short term, like in the now, he has to be on the list. So that would be my biggest takeaway from it.
Okay, now let me ask this question. Okay, and I'm giving you your props as a QB. Of this list, though, I can't see how Okay, let me define it this way. I look at Patrick Mahomes and what he has achieved in Kansas City, how he has done it, and I think that, to me, brings into a factor that's not a stat, it's leadership. And I think that piece of his ability to turn that program around as a notable team, to me, I think is something that I don't think any of these other players have done.
Okay, go ahead, Hollis.
Go ahead, Lisa. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Hollis.
No, you go ahead. No, I was just saying, I think it's not necessarily about that. If we look at any of those guys, all those guys have those same attributes. I think we're just talking about, like, who's going to be, as far as the best, coming into this season. And I would agree with the list. I don't know if I would have him number 2 or whatever, but I don't think he's the number 1, considering he's got hurt, considering Kansas City's always had sort of a lack of weapons. So I could see the argument for him not being number 1.
Okay. I'm going to throw this out there to everybody before Matt gives his. I want Matt's opinion on this as well. But this is something that I found in the research today when it comes to this actual survey and the people that completed it. 15% of those voters kept Mahomes out of their top 3. Not just 1 and 2, out of their top 3. And their reasons were with some, they're citing lingering effects from hits, which I guess they're referring to, his late season ACL tear last year and other, concussions and such. And the tendency to choose big plays or chase big plays. I thought that was the whole purpose of an NFL quarterback, is to chase big plays. Now, why are they holding that against Mahomes?
Well, I'll even ask this question: why are they holding his injuries? Because let's talk about where, prior to him getting his first major injury, how good was he then? Where was he taking that Kansas City team? Because all of a sudden everybody's like, who is that quarterback? Like, what's going on in Kansas City? Like, how is this happening? Now, all of a sudden, he's been around for a while, and now we're trying to, I'm going to say, downplay him, and I just don't think that you can.
Well, I think we're not talking historic. We're talking about just coming into the season, and I think those criticisms are legit, because when you're a quarterback, you're supposed to take the play that's given, and sometimes when you chasing the big play, you make mistakes. And again, if we're talking about just what have you done for me lately, we're talking about ranking going to the season, then all those criticisms are definitely legit, particularly the injuries.
Here's my issue with this. I have major issues with the number 3 and the number 4 spots on this. We'll start with number 4. We're talking about Mahomes and injuries. What about Joe Burrow? Yes, Mahomes was injured more recently, but ever since Joe Burrow has gone out and come back ready to play, what has he done since that one good season they had? My other thing here is I find it a little bit interesting. If you scroll through this list and you look at the ages, there is one thing that glares out of everything here. Josh Allen is 30. Patrick Mahomes is 30. Matt Stafford is 38.
Yes.
Then you keep on going down. Joe Burrow is 29. Lamar Jackson is 29. Dak Prescott is 32. He's a little older, but still not 38. Justin Herbert is 28. Drake May, 23. Jared Goff is 31. And finally, in the 10 spot, Caleb Williams is 24. I think – now, I respect Matt Stafford a lot, because I thought when he moved from the Lions to L.A., I thought this guy's finally going to get what he has been missing his whole career. So I have mad respect for what he's done in the league. But I think maybe third place is kind of like, this is sort of the veteran quarterback of the league right here. We're going to stick him up towards the top just as an homage. Not because we think he's actually that good.
Right. It's a tribute to his longevity in the NFL. Yeah,
respect
I get it.
For the career and not necessarily what he's actually going to be capable of.
Well, and here, I think those are all legitimate points, Matt, and thank you. But this is my problem. Like Hollis said, they've left out, okay, and I'm sorry, Jordan Love. Where's Jordan Love in the mix here? I mean, I know I'm a Packer fan, and that probably colors my view of it maybe a tad.
Maybe.
But maybe. Hey, we don't need any peanut gallery comments. No, I'm just kidding. So I really feel like, and what about Brock Purdy? Where's he?
True.
So, I mean, there are names left out, and some of these others, Drake May, come on. I don't think he's legitimately been in the league long enough to make this list. Yeah, he had an outstanding season, and I think, Hollis is probably correct in we're looking at the here and now. We're looking at the upcoming season and the expectations of what's going to happen with teams and their quarterbacks. But still, I think you're leaving out a lot of legitimate quarterbacks that had good play last season.
Prescott. I mean, is he going to be okay? So let's assume he plays 2 more years and he's out the league. Is he going to be like one of the most notable quarterbacks that we remember that played for Dallas or even played in the league? I say no. I'm thinking about people. For me, I'm looking at let's say when you retire, and let's say you retired this season. How many of these players would you actually say are going to have status enough to be Hall of Fame, every possible award there is, they're going to be capable of? I don't think. I think these younger guys. I think these younger guys. They still have time. They're good, but they are not seasoned as somebody like a Patrick Mahomes. I'm sorry, that's just no way.
But you have to admit that Dak Prescott's going to be considered one of the best quarterbacks of his era. He may not be all time, but we cannot deny his stats. We cannot deny his ability.
I'm okay with him. I'm okay with him. I'm okay with him.
You have to say that about him, though.
Yeah.
And but the thing is, I think every quarterback on this list, they're going to be except for the young guys. We're talking about established guys. They're going to be considered
I agree.
the best in their era.
I agree.
Again, they're all not going to be all time.
I agree. I agree. But I said, the young ones, I don't know where you put these. What would make you put them in this list?
Well, who else would you pick? Would you not pick Caleb Williams in this list? He deserves it. You have to, because if we're looking at top 10 quarterbacks going into next season, he's that. There is nobody above him as far as going into the season. So I think, like I said, with and I would agree with Matt that maybe Joe Burrow, he's maybe the one that I would say probably take him off the list just because he really hasn't, or the team hasn't done much since that Super Bowl season, and they have all the weapons. When we talk about weapons, they have some legitimate weapons that a lot of those other teams have. So, like I said, I think you have to pick some of the young kids because, again, they Drake May, Caleb Williams, they had great seasons last season, so you can't deny that.
All right, I'm going to argue about the Dak Prescott pick. I'm sorry. When was the last time he led the Cowboys to to a playoff game? When was the last time the Dallas Cowboys, under the leadership of Dak Prescott, made a playoff, even a wild card? It's been a minute, right?
I think so.
So if we're looking at going into the season, they didn't even make the playoffs last year. So if that's the case, if we're not looking at their whole body of work, how do you justify putting him on there? Okay, I can justify Caleb Williams. The Bears made a deep run into the playoffs, right? So we'll take that one.
Yeah,
but I'm not taking Dak. Because and I'm sorry, Cowboy fans. I know that they're probably going to be, I'm drinking the haterade. But I mean, honestly, if we're looking at, the past seasons, what they've done in the past, what they've accomplished, and what to expect this coming, 2026 season, is that not legitimate?
Well, here's the thing to think about, though. You do kind of have to look at his stats a little bit because, I mean, yes, the quarterback is a major piece of it, but maybe it reflects more so the missing pieces that have been in Dallas. Because, I mean, he has, let's see here, it's 4 seasons with 4,000 passing yards and 30 touchdown passes. That is the 6th most all-time behind Drew Brees, Manning, Brady, Rodgers, and Phil Rivers. That's impressive. And
Dak Prescott has the black cloud over him, which is Jerry Jones. So it's not a matter of what PC he has. It's what he has to deal with. And I think Jerry Jones has made this situation almost untenable for any quarterback. So to Matt's point, you got to – I mean, statistically speaking, he's put them in a position to win. They just, like I said, for whatever reason, and I would point to Jerry Jones, they haven't, gotten over the hump.
Well, Jerry Jones could probably take a whole host of blame for a lot of Dallas's issues. Who of this list, Hollis, the oldest 2 or 3 players? Is there somebody? Is there a possibility that there could be some a younger player that, let's say, if this list will come out again right after this season?
It should.
Would those guys be gone? Do you think?
Yeah, I think you're going to have a couple gone. Like I say, Matthew Stafford, he's winding down, so I don't think he'll be there much longer. And I gotta say this because when we talk about leading to the playoffs and getting the big win, I think we got to start questioning Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Great individual players. And like I said, I think they'll maintain themselves on the list. But when we talk about it's time to get over the hump, if any teams, we got to talk about those two. So I would say, those 3 quarterbacks to me would be on the bubble as far as, making maybe top 5-ish or even making the list, particularly when it comes to Matthew Stafford.
Everybody on this list now, come Super Bowl time, or let's even say playoff time, if you're not in that playoff time, there's no way you are on this list.
No, that's not necessarily true. Because
I think so.
Dak Prescott's on there, and they didn't make the playoffs last year. I mean, that was my argument. Joe Burrow, right? Help me if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. Did the Bengals make the playoffs this past year?
No,
and he's on the list. So, I mean, I don't think that it's a body of work of the team.
I'm not okay with, I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at the list, and I'm not sure that I'm okay with a whole lot of the names. I'm thinking to me, it's popular names, notable names, and not necessarily the work. You might not have 10 top quarterbacks. You may only have 5.
Well, you got to have 10.
You might only have 5. You might have, what happens if they said, okay, well, we want to do 15? Well, could there be? Do you think there could be 15? Could there be 5 other quarterbacks that you could add into this list?
I mean, I would reduce the list, honestly.
Thank you. That's my point.
I think 10 is a bit much, especially when you get to the bottom of the list. And I think a lot of these players, I mean, they're interchangeable. I mean, I think some of them are ranked too low or too high. I'm okay with Josh Allen. I mean, I feel like Josh Allen, they make the playoffs consistently. The Bills get there. Yeah. They get close to the Super Bowl. Mahomes they get there too. And when Allen's on his A game, he's unstoppable, basically. He's cut down on his turnovers. The future's bright for him and for the Bills.
But the thing about Allen is, like, when they lose, it tends to be his fault. When they lose in the big games, it's a fumble, it's a pick, it's a mishap that's directly attributed to him.
Okay, and I'm okay with that. But I'm thinking as they're ranking them in their order. Is that it? Or is it? Or do we just think?
It's by vote.
Like, so Josh Allen is number 1 on the list.
According to all of these coaches, executives, it's going back to who voted, it's 70 league executives, coaches, and scouts.
Well, the couple other things to look at, too. The lowest ranking anyone gave him out of that whole group was 4th, and he was ranked number 2 last year. So, I mean, he's been consistently up there at least the last couple seasons.
I think it'll be interesting. We should revisit this list when it comes Super Bowl time and see how it plays out. But
we could even say playoff time.
Well, yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
who's not going to be there?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's worth time, but yeah. So anyway, I thought that was a good topic to touch on. What else are we going to talk about tonight, Mr. Lee?
Well, let me ask this question. All right, I'm gonna go to
this?
No,
Nope.
I'm gonna go to Caitlin Clark.
Okie dokie.
Ooh.
Okay. Now this has been a ongoing topic, discussion, argument, all of those things about who and what she is. My complaint. Well, let me first say I'm a huge fan. Okay?
Oh, we know.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan.
You've made that perfectly clear.
I'm a huge fan.
Caitlin can do no wrong in Carl Lee's eyes.
My only problem, if I were going to say that, something could change, I wish that she would ignore not the physicality. That's the official's problem, okay? I don't even want her to say anything to any of those players. You're too good. In my view, you're above them. Don't let them bring you down to you. Just get on the court, play your game, and go home. I don't want you to go out there and try to match words with them and all of that kind of stuff.
Is she, though?
She does. I think she does sometimes, and I know it. And there's no way to say you don't get frustrated. There's no way,
right?
Because you're always getting pushed and shoved and all that kind of stuff. I just don't want her. Because what happens if she says something, she does something? Now people are going to say she's just like them. She's part of that conversation. She's part of that division. Because now they're all talking about each other. I don't want her to get into this match of matching disrespect. I don't want her to do that because she doesn't have to. Her game speaks for itself.
Hollis?
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of part of her personality. As far as she's a feisty player, right?
Yes.
So yeah. I think that's part of her personality because as much as she takes it, she gives it as well. And I think, as far as the other, women in the league, I think there's a bit of frustration because she's not the best player in the league. She may not be top 10 as far as in the WNBA, as far as talent on the court or best player right now. I think she can definitely attest to that. Hold up.
I'm getting ready to get you cut out of the show.
She's the most popular player, but she's certainly not, championship ready. She's not Asia Woods. She's not those other players. So there's some frustration on that end because she is getting the bulk of the attention. So not based off of what's happening on the court.
Hollis, who do you think is the best? Hollis, who do you think is the best player in the WNBA right now?
It's clear. It's Asia Wilson. She's the best player in the WNBA, and she's embarking on becoming one of the best women's basketball players of all time. It's without doubt. She's the best. When you talk about statistics, when you talk about championships, she's it.
She's averaging 25.5 points a game this season.
Wow.
And here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about Caitlin. Okay, so I'm going to make the case that while all those other things, those things matter and all that, she is by far the best shooter. In my book, she's the best shooter. And like Steph Curry, sometimes you don't win championships, but there's no question about who is the best shooter. And to me, most people enjoy.
Steph Curry won championships.
Huh?
Steph Curry won a bunch of championships. You can't say that.
But again, I just believe, I wholeheartedly believe that her shooting has brought more attention to the WNBA than anybody's actual play.
I'm going to jump in here. I'm not going to argue about, who is the best player in the WNBA. I do think she is the most impactful. The Caitlin Clark effect, so to speak. The things that she has done to bring more attention to the WNBA is just as important as her play on the court. She may not be remembered as the best player, but people will remember her for the impact that she has had for the league and women's basketball in general.
I'm with you there, and it's this, and to me it is. So, to your point, Hollis, if she's not the best, my problem with that, in some degree, is why is she taking all of this punishment? Why is she physically being beat up, tossed around, and all of that?
Foul.
Yes. Why? Why is that happening?
The same reason Michael Jordan took it. The same reason any young superstar is going to take that punishment. When you're coming in,
so you're comparing her to Michael Jordan.
I'm comparing it to Michael Jordan on the fact that when you come in and you're hailed as something, but yet you haven't shown and proved that, and your attention, your money, your endorsements are superseding that of established stars, of course there's going to be some vitriol. Of course people are going to be in their feelings. Of course you're going to get the best every night. So you're going to get whoever's defending you, whoever team you're playing, that team knows that the eyes are going to be on that game because she's playing in it. So you're going to get the best every night. So that's something you're going to have to deal with. The question with her is that in the next 2, 3, 4 years, can you overcome that, and can you take that team and win a championship? Because what we got to remember, she's yet to win championships. She didn't win one in college. She didn't win. She's not a champion as far as winning the big one. So that's the question with her. It's not a question of whether this or that or that. Can you take that punishment? Can you take everything that's going on and flip it to like what Michael Jordan or Steph Curry or LeBron James did into championship season?
Matt?
Well, it sounds like from what I got out of what Hollis said there, it sounds like I think he believes there's potential there, but she hasn't realized any of it yet. I mean, it's not that she's having a bad year. I was looking over some of her stats here. She's number 2 in assists in the league. She's got 7.8 assists per game. She's averaging 20 points a game. Shooting 33% behind the three-point arc, 42% on the field. She's shooting 85% of her free throws. So she's kind of playing an all-around game. She's not necessarily leading in any stat category, but, I mean, when you pile all that up together, I mean, she's doing okay.
And I'm going to add to that, Matt. I'm glad you brought up her stats, but think about, and I'm not saying that professional athletes probably all deal with this to a degree. But for her, the pressure of the media noise that she deals with every single game, it's unprecedented. I mean, you think about it, she's under that media microscope. And, sometimes that overshadows, her actual basketball play. It also makes the other players single her out, want, like Hollis said, want to play their best, to show that they're better than her. And, the toll mentally on her and her teammates on the Indiana Fever, it's got to be, it's got to affect all of their mental games. I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm saying it might contribute to the fact that they're not winning the championships yet. It's a lot to deal with. And I think, and we've heard this through the media, and so I'm going to be comfortable in saying having being white and being such a great player, some of the black players don't like it. That's true. In my book, I feel like that's part of the reason. Part of the reasons why she's getting knocked down, stepped on, kicked, all those kinds of things is because of who she is and how she looks. Hollis?
And there's no follow up on that. There just isn't.
No, I think it's not just, we can't say purely because she's white. I mean, obviously that has to do with far as her marketability obviously when we come to endorsements and being like
So what you're saying, so if you get more marketing than I get, you get put out there more than I do, then I'm going to take that out on the field against you. I'm a cheap shot you.
100%. That's what's going on. Like I said, it's like she's ascended to the face of the league based on a number of things, except for a championship, except for being the best player. And those players are going to have a problem with that.
Well, it's not just Caitlin Clark, too. Think about like Sophie Cunningham and the 22-second pointing thing that she did with Dewana Bonner a few weeks ago.
Yep.
I mean, talk about a viral WNBA moment.
And again, what is interesting to that point is that this has been able to be something. It's happening, and it's being basically it's okay. You may get thrown out of game, you may get a foul, you might get something like that. But this is something that I think you have to stop, because you're going to get somebody physically hurt because of the cheap shots and things that are taking place.
Man, these are professional athletes. They are all right. Because I can say the same thing about Angel Reese. Angel Reese is ascended to being the face of the league, not necessarily deserving so.
Bro, a cheap shot is a cheap shot. It doesn't make any difference. It does not make. It's not okay to do a cheap shot, even if that player is great.
But I wouldn't say cheap shot. I would say the players are playing hard.
Oh my gosh! Come on, Hollis. Come on, Hollis.
I'm not gonna say.
You, bro. Okay, how do you punch somebody in the throat as an accident? Help me with that, because I might have that accident tomorrow with you. Okay, like how is that possible?
Oh boy,
that is you can't sell me on that. I'm sorry.
I think basically it comes down to the fact that when people have conversations about Caitlin Clark, she is culturally polarizing. Period.
Yes.
And people see her as this, a lightning rod for, conversations about gender, about race, rivalries, and it all plays out on the court. And these girls, they're human.
The bad thing about the rivalry piece is the rivalry is to me, if I have a rivalry against you, it's because how good you are, and
right.
Me and Sterling had a rivalry, right?
Sure, yeah.
But we were still able to be friends, great friends.
Right.
In this situation, this has gotten out of hand because because she's getting that attention, she's getting all the attention, sucking it all up. She probably is the most notable player in the WNBA. And these other individual players don't like it. So now they're taking it out on her. She didn't write the article. She's not writing article. She's the one who somebody's writing those articles about her, saying this about her. She's not saying it about herself. This is all media.
I agree. Like I said, she's under the media microscope. That's just part of her role.
And individuals who get up, kick her, put your fist in her neck, like that kind of stuff makes no sense to me. And what are you trying to do? Are you trying to hurt her? Because if you hurt her and she's out of the league, I'm not sure you're going to have the same amount of attention that you had before.
I was just going to say that. I mean, I know that there's some rivalry pieces, out there and the cultural polarization of her, but let's just face it, the WNBA has benefited greatly from the acquisition of Caitlin Clark. I mean, you look at it, you've got, it's boosted attendance at games, merchandise sales, viewership on TV, media rights, all those things. They're even drawing in the non-traditional basketball fans because they're curious to see, what all this hoopla is about this player, Caitlin Clark.
Right.
So there's all positives. These girls, these women, I shouldn't say girls, women do not want to see her get hurt and permanently put out of the league because it's just going to hurt all of them in the long run.
I don't think that they see that. I don't think that they see that. I don't think they even actually, some of them don't buy it because they think they can be the one. I'm the one who's going to be the face. If she gets hurt and she gets out, she's not playing, I can be the face of the league. But I don't think so. I don't think that they can carry it. I don't think they can carry it.
I don't think they think like that. They're just playing hard. And I think, like I said, once she wins a championship or she at least starts to get to championships, all this noise will be dead. It's just the fact of the matter is that, like I said, you got all the attention. So, yeah, you're going to get the attention. Everybody's going to play hard against you. And I think that once she gets over the hump, starts to get the conference championships and WNBA championships, all this will be in the distant past.
All right, I'm gonna switch a subject. Still with her, okay? Still with her, and maybe even just the WNBA. What impact? How big of an impact is Caitlin Clark and/or the WNBA having on young women, young girls wanting to play basketball? The growth margins of where women's basketball has gone, whoever the reason it's gone, it's growing. But I want to say that impact is Caitlin Clark.
I disagree with that totally.
Well, I don't, that doesn't surprise me.
No, I know. Here's the thing, though. I don't dismiss Caitlin Clark's impact on the game, but I think what's caused the greatest impact, and I think what's causing little girls to want to aspire to be that, is because the WNBA has found its personality. It's found its style. You got to remember, prior to this era of WNBA players, all the women would try to mimic the guys. So they would dress like the guys, they would play like the guys, and it would kind of just be like a mimic of the men's and boys game. Now you have women coming to the arena, in stilettos and being dolled up, looking like supermodels. So I think girls now are looking at it and saying, hey, I can still be a woman, I can still be myself, I can still have that era of femininity, but I can go out there and ball as well. So there's a dichotomy that they've created within that. So I think, to me, that's the biggest impact of kind of this era of WNBA players.
Okay, I'm going to throw my 2 cents in here, guys. So I feel like with the WNBA also, whenever they originally started the league, which I can't remember, it escapes my mind how many years ago it was, but wasn't it at a different time of the year? Wasn't it during the same period of time that the NBA was going on when they originally started? Help me, guys, if you know that. Because my point is, if it wasn't, I think moving it to the summer, this time of year when the kids are out of school, the girls are out of school, they can stay up late and watch the game with mom and dad. It's the availability of it, I think, has helped the WNBA grow and get those little girls to watch and want to be like the players that they see. Not just necessarily Caitlin Clark. She may have been the original reason they started watching, but it's kind of I agree with Hollis to a point too. These girls are supermodels. I mean, they go out there, they've got their own type of style, their own type of game, completely different from the NBA. And I think having this time of year to kind of, promote what they're doing and play and be able to be seen without interference from a lot of other men's sports, I think that contributes to people watching and the little girls getting those role models and becoming interested.
Would you believe 29 years?
No way.
1997 was the first
Showing
WNBA.
my age.
Are you kidding? Gosh.
Yeah.
Do you know the time of year it originally started?
I don't, but I think it's shifted around.
I think it,
especially in those early seasons. I think they kind of moved the start and end dates around to kind of figure out where it would slot in there.
Right.
And I think the popularity of women's college basketball has helped too, because within, I would say, probably the last 10 years, women's college basketball has been everything. It's like now when they're looking at revenue generating sports, it's like it's football, men's basketball, women's basketball. And in some cases, when you look at like a Tennessee, when you look at a UConn, when you're looking at like these, UNC, women's basketball might be like that second revenue generating sport. So I think college basketball, like Lisa, you mentioned, having just that full access. So now kind of we know these women behind the scenes, we getting to know their personality. Social media certainly helps.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
sure.
So like all that's a contributing factor.
I'm wondering when and or if, like I know, and my involvement with youth is, youth sports, and I'm trying to figure out when is there a time or is there going to be an opportunity to be able to create a youth sports program with female basketball to get enough female players to play?
I think if you offer
because
I know like for St. Albans has a league with just girls.
How many teams do you know? How many teams they have?
I don't know how many teams they have. I think they're the only ones.
I think you're right, because I do. Now that you said that, I think I remember somebody saying that.
Yeah, so because I know I would like to definitely, because I know my girls play in your league, and I would love to have just an all-female, league so they can, just be on equal footing.
That may be something worth working on, because I think and I don't know if everywhere around the country has girls youth basketball to play.
They need to.
But it is something that needs to happen for those young ladies.
They definitely have it.
Yeah,
they definitely have it. It's just about like if we can get the numbers up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to think though that the numbers may come simply because women's basketball now, the popularity of it, I think it could be slow. You know what I'm saying? But I think I can't imagine it not growing. Because
the only problem, like I said, I think you definitely have the interest and the support. A lot of, I know a bunch of little girls that play basketball. The problem with that is just we use sports. It's just, and this is a different conversation, but it's just generally so much going on at one time. Like kids playing 2 or 3 sports in like one season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of hurts the participation overall for any sport, not just women's youth sport, girls' youth sport.
But summer, they should maybe do a reflection of the WNBA. Maybe have it during the summer rather than the winter. I know traditionally, you have basketball leagues that are in the winter, but for girls, summer might be a good time.
Good point.
Yeah, I would think so. And again, I think that we have with youth sports. I think, well, let's just say sports in general. We've taken it and created this kind of a monster, and teams are or leagues are moving into summer, fall, and it's literally getting to a point where you could play basketball year round.
Yeah.
Well, you have to think a little bit too about the creation period for women's sports. I mean, it came after boys and men's sports. So, I mean, think about
after.
Yeah. Think about the progression of final scores for games in the NBA. I mean, you go back into the 70s and 80s. I mean, a high scoring game was going to be 89 to 92 final score. You're talking about games now where, I mean, there were NBA Finals games this year. I think one of them, the Knicks had 140 points or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And that's just normal now.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's an extra 50 points a game now in 2025, 2026, 2027 that were not being scored 30, 40, 50 years ago. You have to think that the WNBA is going to go through that. The game is going to get faster for the women just like it has for the men. It's just not as advanced yet. It just hadn't happened yet.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's a true fact there, and I think we shouldn't wait to try to grow it and let it, quote, grow on its own. We should be proactive. the individuals who are part of that need to start talking about women's basketball from a young age all the way through, because if you don't, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for them to make the adjustment. I'm at the rec center, so I see different young girls that are down at the rec playing.
Right.
and
which is
take
awesome.
a shot, which is awesome.
Because
yeah.
I remember in my day, we really didn't have an opportunity to play any type of really a sport besides cheerleading, volleyball or basketball until we hit, back then it was junior high.
Yeah.
And then you're so far behind because the boys have been playing Little League, during all this time, and the girls
nobody's
have to
interested in
start-
going to look at it.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
So-
another sport on kind of the same idea here, soccer here in the Kanawha Valley.
Yeah.
A lot of the high schools in our area really didn't start getting soccer teams until, the 90s maybe?
Right.
Yeah.
Good
And
point.
that kind of came for both genders at the same time. Now you're talking about University of Charleston, Marshall University, WVU, all in
exploded.
this championship discussion all the time at the college level. And you have to think that some of that's got to be because of what's going on here at the rec league and the middle and high school levels as well. But that's a sport that came way later.
Right.
And has exploded.
It has. It really has.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the beginning of sports, getting started in basketball, getting started in football, getting started in baseball, I do buy into the youth as young as possible to some degree.
Sure.
Just because so they have time to develop. Because if by the time you're in middle school, you kind of got to already have some
fundamentals.
Some fundamentals set and effective for you to be good enough to get to high school and now have an opportunity to get to college. If you wait too long, you either have to be a naturally gifted athlete, or you're just going to fall. It's just going to be.
Yeah.
You're going to fall short.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I just think that that the women's sports, to me, I am a strong supporter of women's
Caitlin
sports.
Clark. Oh.
And the reason
I'm going to get you a Caitlin Clark shirt for Christmas.
And the reason that I am that is because of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to Matt's point, I think women's sports, and again, you definitely need your Caitlin Clark. Don't get it confused. You need your Caitlin Clarks in all sports. But I think what we're starting to see is women's sports are just ultra competitive, and I think they have a competitive fire that some of the men's sports don't. Are kind of lapsing at this moment.
100% right on that.
And I tell you the two sports to watch out for in the next 10 years that I think are going to be major is softball and women's flag football. I think along with basketball, I think those could be the three major women's sports, and I'm talking about where they're going to pack out stadiums. So
I like the softball for sure.
Yeah, and
I mean, the flag football, that's going to take a little longer, don't you think, Hollis, just because of the fact there's not I mean, where is it happening? Is it collegiate or?
Because everybody.
We have it at the youth level.
Okay.
Yeah, they're starting to have it at the youth, and some high schools are starting to have club sports. Colleges are starting to have club sports, and also it's in the Olympics as well.
Okay.
So I say the men's are in the Olympics. I don't know if they have a women's flag football yet in the Olympics, but I think flag is, because when we look at the dangers of football, different things of that nature, that is a alternative, just overall. But I think for specifically for women, it's fun to watch if you've never seen it.
Could you see a merger of football and flag football at the young level, at the youth level, just for the safety? Specifically for safety, and then kind of gradually bring them into shoulder pads and helmets and all that kind of stuff.
In my conjecture, I think that's what should happen. I think when you're 5, 6, 7, 8, then maybe used to be playing like some semblance of some iteration of flag football, and then as you move to like 4th and 5th grade, that's when you start to do the pads. In my opinion, I think that's probably what should already happen. I don't think you need to be slapping helmets at 7 years old.
I agree with that.
And again, I do the youth sports for the city of South Charleston, and I think that I think that there's the safety issue is enough. Is present enough to try to change that, from, like you said, a kid playing at 5, a kid playing at 6, and
the earlier you start those hits, the more
you're still
likely,
growing your bones.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The earlier you start that, the more likely you're going to have the concussions pile up on each other, and then more risk for CTE and the things that come along later on in life.
And there's
that hitting.
And the facts of that is proof. I mean, guys who have played football from me, like I played football at the youth level, junior high school, college, and you can't and for the amount of all that contact,
right?
It's just it's not good for you.
No, it's not healthy.
It's just not healthy.
And I think we have too many irresponsible coaches, right? So I think football, to me, number
like
one,
Carl Lee.
I'm
kidding.
No, not at all.
I'm
But
kidding.
you shouldn't be like banging and doing all that hitting in practice. Number one, those dumb Oklahoma drills and different things of that nature. And I would say football, to me, where we're losing at the youth level is that we're too preoccupied with winning and not development. When you look at all the other sports, you look at baseball and soccer and football. I mean, of course they want to win, but dude, you're not. I mean, you won a championship with 8-year-olds. I mean, great, that's awesome. But do they know the fundamentals as they move up to the next level? And I think football has got to get to that place where it's not about winning, it's just about development and teaching the right methodologies and not, hitting crazy and doing those silly things.
And to that point, that's the parent that's mad after the game is over because you lost and maybe your kid didn't play or didn't play enough or made a mistake or something like that, and the coach got on them, so now they're mad. I think we've got to quit worrying about the mistakes at the youth level. We just need to have them playing, have a good time. And it doesn't even, and it could be clock running. It could be, just anything just to have them out there and get them through it.
At the end of the day, when somebody's talking about you at your funeral, are they going to mention that you were the 6th grade rec league champion? No. Nobody's going to remember that.
No.
It should just be for the love of the game.
Exactly.
And I'll say that. I'll say this to that. You don't want to be the person who's going out because of your memory. You don't want to.
Right.
You don't want to, and like I said, I have memory issues. All right, so
Were you diagnosed when you were in the league? Did you have any officially diagnosed concussions? I'm sure you probably had them, and nobody.
Nobody had ever said to me. No trainer ever said to me that I had a concussion.
Wow.
And I know for a fact. And I have all my tapes, so I've gone back to see. I've gone back to see it.
That doesn't mean they didn't happen. They just didn't call them that.
I'm knocked out. I'm knocked out on the field. My one leg is up, my hands are up, and my neck is up, and I'm laying on my back. I'm back in the game in 3 or 4 plays.
Whew.
I didn't even after the game. I did not even remember not a play in the game.
Wow.
Whew. Wow. Because the protocol's obviously way different now.
It's way better, but if you have that, if that happens to you, you're not going back in the game.
Yeah.
Right.
You're done for this game. There is no getting back in the game because he's your star.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's not because now what you're doing is you're doing that for you.
Right.
And don't say you're doing it for the team, because if the team loses, the team loses. Everybody is lost.
Right.
You know,
Takes
but don't
more than
risk
it's
that.
a team.
Yes.
It's a team effort.
So support that accident, that injury, and we'll take that L today. That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, for the health and safety of everybody involved.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm telling you, if I'm a parent and if I see my child laying on the turf, hit to the head hit the ground, and he's laying there or she's laying there, if that coach does not take him out of the game for the rest of the game,
and probably
I'm
to a
coming
hospital.
on the sideline. I'm coming to the
be
sideline.
evaluated for a concussion. Make
sure he's sitting on the bench, or we're going home.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take him home.
Yeah.
And we just have to do better in looking at those types of things and paying attention to them, and not acting like we're it's about winning, because no, it's not. It's about teaching.
Right.
That's all it is. It's about teaching. You get up to the higher levels, now it's about winning. Okay? Youth sports is not about winning. Just about teaching, having fun. Period. So that's my rant.
That's a good rant. I'm with you 100%.
All right. Well, Hollis, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
You got anything you want to close before we close out?
Nah, man. Good discussion today.
All righty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get out of here, and we appreciate your time. We'll see you again next week.